Hello, welcome to another episode of Legends of FPV. My name's Andy Graber with GetFPV, and I'm excited tonight to be joined with one of the fastest pilots in FPV in probably the entire world. His name is Evan Turner. You may have heard of him. He's won a lot of races over his young career, many more than most of us have already. He has quite the list of accomplishments already. And as I introduce him here, he is the co-owner and co-founder of his brand 533 Drone. He is the winner of the Multi-GP IO World Cup Champ in 2018 and 2021. He's the winner of the Multi-GP Global Champ in 2018 and 2019. He is also the 2020 winner of the DRL World Championship. And he's a full-time drone pilot at the age of 18. Pretty incredible how much he's already accomplished in such a short period of time, and I'm going to bring him on right now, and we'll get to hang out, chat, and see what's going on. Hey, Evan.
How's it going, guys? I'm happy to be here. I've got like 7 different windows open on my screen trying to read all these chats, so I apologize if I ever look confused, but I promise I'm just trying to read the chats the whole time.
No problem. Glad you could be here with us, and thanks for joining us tonight. And thank you for everyone who's joined us here on the live stream with Evan. Please feel free to join us in a conversation. We'll be looking at the chat throughout the night, trying to answer your questions. Who knows, maybe Evan will give you some of his secrets of how he's so much faster than you are, and you can learn it here tonight. So feel free to ask, and we'll see what Evan feels like he can share with us. But Evan, why don't we get started here? I'm going to start things off with the beginning of how you got started in FPV. And maybe it sounds like from your history, even RC in general, you've been doing for a long time. So what was your path like? How did you get started into drone racing and FPV?
Yeah, so I always tell people that I was kind of like raised in drone racing, or I grew up in RC remote control, everything. So from the age of I think like about 6 years old, I mean, you can find pictures of me. I was known, especially when I was a kid. You won't catch me anywhere with this hat on now, but I was known for wearing this big straw hat with a windsock out the top, and that I was this little tiny kid who would go out with it, and the controller was like as big as me, and I would go out and we'd fly planes. It's something that my dad and I have always done together. It's been just something really cool. We've been able to a hobby that we've been able to share. So yeah, at the age of 6, I got a Christmas present, was an RC airplane that my dad and I were going to fly together, and we didn't think anything of it. Just thought, I mean, as a 6-year-old, you can't really predict what they're going to do with their life, but we got that. We started playing around with that. My dad and I, again, did that together. And over time, like we did it the first time, we built it, flew it. I had a blast with it. We crashed it, of course. I mean, that's just part of it. As anyone knows who flies drones or does anything with drones, crashing is part of it. But we did that, and then we got to fix it together. And then we wanted a nicer. And my dad's like a real nerd. So he was like, "Wow, well, we can get get this one. It does this better. Or use this new servos and make it faster and respond better, or something like that." And it was just something that we both kind of found a passion for. And of course, I feel so incredibly lucky to have shared a passion with my dad growing up, and it's been something that we've always been able to do, arguing or not. We've always been able to go out into the yard, or go out to the field and fly together. If I am mad at him, I will try and beat him in the race, any race that we have. But it's just something fun that we can do. But yeah, so about the age of 10 or 11, I started competing. Flying remote control airplanes. So, of course, that is different than drones. These are fixed wing airplanes, flying not FPV. But I started doing that, and I actually won my first national championship flying remote control airplanes at the age of 11. So that was I
didn't list that in your bio.
Yeah, well, sorry, I didn't bring it up, but
you're 11 years old and you won a fixed wing championship.
Yeah, national championship. Yeah, exactly.
And how big of a plane was that you were flying?
So I think the wingspan of that one at the time, it's like 124 inch. It was called a Cardin Pro. Cardin is it's a kit built airplane. So it was built by pretty much came in a box full of sticks and foam and covering.
This is like a gas motor, right?
Yeah. Oh, there's a 200cc motor on there. So that's more than most people's motorcycles sometimes. But had a 30-inch prop on it. It was essentially this it was a really cool thing. I wish I had a picture of it I could show you.
At 11 years old, you must have been dwarfed by that plane.
I could I could have ridden in it. I think I could have. I was probably a pretty chunky, but I still think it could have got me off the ground. But so
Uh,
yeah, I did that. I've always been super super competitive, like to a almost like unhealthy point. But we I started doing that, and I found success in it. And so then about the time around 14, so that was about 4 years ago, is when, or no, I mean, I'd say it's been about 5 years, 5 or 6 years. So I guess around when I was 12 or 13 is when I started to get into drones.
okay.
And that's, about the time they started to get more popular. So the tech started getting better and more viable for anyone to get into. You didn't have to have like a computer science degree to make this thing fly anymore. Beta flight was coming out and so forth. So got that. And it was my
How did
actually,
you get into it though? Yeah, who
yeah,
like did you see a video? Oh, go ahead.
So it is my buddy Sam Pankratz, and he might be watching this right now, but I flew RC planes with him, and he's the super nerd, like not me, and so he was like, Evan, you got to see this new mini quad that I have, and I was like mesmerized by it. It was FPV. So he brought that over to my house. He lived literally 5 minutes down the road. And I remember we didn't even have our driver's license. He is a few years older than me, but he didn't even have his license yet. So I remember us texting each other, and then his dad drove him down to my house, and then he got it out and showed it. We flew it in my backyard, and I was just like, wow, I want to do that. And of course, I'd been competitive flying remote control airplanes, and I wanted to try that. And I didn't think of it as I want to race them. I want to get really good at it. I just thought it'd be another fun way to enjoy what I do. So that came about like that, and then it's kind of every since then it's kind of the rest is history. So we flew together doing that, just Sam and I, and then my dad got into it because he, of course, like he didn't want to be left flying planes. I started really really enjoying the drone side of things, and he came over, and then him and I started doing it. And then I think about 2017 was the first year I went to the multi GP nationals.
Okay.
So I remember I practiced really hard, and I mean at the time I'm thinking 2017, I think I was 14, so I was this young kid. And at the time, drone racing was very young in itself, even more so than it is now. And yeah, I was just this like little twerp, basically, this little 14-year-old punk kid, and that is what I did. And again, I never have ever thought about FPV or drones until recently as like any sort of career, or any sort of thing like that. It was always since I was a kid, just something that I did for fun. It's my passion. It's like when I was upset, I would go fly. When I wanted to go have fun, I would go fly. Like I've met some of the best friends in my life racing, or just flying in general. And it really was my life, and it still is. And I love every second of it. I wake up every single day pumped about the things that I do, or the things I'm fortunate enough to get to do as my job. And I've been able to talk to I just graduated high school, so everybody wanted to know like what are you going to do after high school and so forth. And like so I ended up talking to a lot of people about what they did and what their life was like coming out of college. And um, anyone who hears that like that you're doing exactly what you love doing, regardless if you're a millionaire or if you're living on like welfare, if you're doing what you're loving, then people will. It's easy. Like it really is. I don't regret anything that I've done. But it all has truly come out of passion. There was no like, oh, like I have this great business plan and I'm gonna make all this money. That there was none of that. It was like this is exactly what I love doing. And then the next, like, just kind of the dominoes kind of fell in order. And that's where I've come today. But yeah, it's been like a 5 or 6 year journey doing this. And it's still just as fun like today as it was the first time I picked it up. Like I still get the rush every single time, still get butterflies, just thinking about going outside, fly, exploring some trees. And yeah, I really, really love everything about FPV and what it is I get to do.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So, I mean, it's obviously your passion, and you said you're still very passionate about it. Growing up, was that ever something that if you got in trouble, was that like a grounding, like you're not flying today?
Yeah, I would say I was a pretty good kid. I think I didn't really get grounded much, but I would
Okay.
say that is definitely something they held against me. And I mean, I have to give full credit to my parents. They were so incredibly supportive of everything that I did. Being 14, 15 years old, trying to go to races, like I couldn't drive to races. Like had to like like for a month and take me to the race this weekend, 4 hours away. You have to wake up at the crack of dawn to get there and stuff. And and whether that's at the very beginning, like buying parts. And my dad was honestly, he was a very very helpful in getting my drones to work. Because I've met some 14-year-olds that are way smarter than me, but me as a 14-year-old trying to get these drones to work, and what didn't always go my way, and it was difficult at first, especially back in the day with how different tech is now. um, but my dad was so helpful, and like even when he probably shouldn't have helped me, and I was probably just being stupid, he was always, he could see how much I loved it, and he would always help me out, always support me. And I guess as a parent, that is, you want to be able to support your kids' passions, and they definitely did that, and I'm so appreciative. It really, I wouldn't be where I am, not even close, without my parents and all the support they've given me. So I'm very, very fortunate in that way. But even today, like I can go home and end up racing with my dad, and he has this weird little giggle. Everybody gives him a hard time, or I give him a hard time about it. Everybody else likes it, but I think he has this weird giggle, and he's always flying. If you watch any of his videos, you can always hear his little like just belly laugh while he's flying. He's the same way. He loves it.
Awesome. He's very memorable at events. I think I always see him. He's always in overalls. Is that right? Or pretty often?
Yeah, that's just about his uniform, I would say. I never I have a pair of overalls. I will say I think I've worn them one time at a race, the Mayhem race, and the 24-hour race. And but yeah, I've seen this man in like 110-degree heat, like in the middle of a field in some crazy place, and he's got his overall strapped on, giggling about something. And that's just my dad at who he is. But yeah, he's definitely, everybody like, they like, so at races sometimes he's known as like Evan's dad, but I think now to this point I think he has more fans than I do, so I'm known as like Kevin's son. So but so he's popular amongst all the people at the races. He's one thing he's definitely known for is while I'm racing, he gets very nervous. So if you want to find my dad during a race, any big race, just go to either the parking lot, maybe the porta potties. I don't know, maybe like in his
But
car somewhere. But he
can he
usually
not
just sits.
watch while it's
He
happening?
can't. No, he can't. He sits there
Wow.
and he watches the stream. If Jay Chapman's in here, he's a guy that I remember. So they won 28 or in at IO 2018. They were I was there and I was flying and I won. And Joe Scully was commentating, of course, and he was talking about, oh, Kevin Turner's in the chat. Evan, is he not here? And I was like, oh no, he's here. He's just in the camper over there. That's where he was sitting there typing in the chat like, go Evan.
That's
So
funny.
if that doesn't, he's always been, like I said, he's so supportive, and he gets nervous. I mean, they say that being nervous just shows that you care, and I think he's more nervous than I am, quite honestly. I get the butterflies, I get the shakes, but my dad, I think, is on the brink of like throwing up over there. So it's nice to. I tell him he can't be around me. Like if I see him, and this was an argument we had very early on in my racing career. Is like I was like, Dad, you can either just decide to not come to the races, I'll go by myself, or you can come and just stay as far away from me as possible. Like, because if I see him over there shaking and like in like the fetal position, then it just drives me crazy. So
It reminds
I
me, like in professional sports, sometimes you'll see like a new athlete, their first start, like in a baseball game or something like that, and they cut over to their parents in the crowd, and
yeah, and
inevitably the mom or the dad or someone biting their fingernails.
yeah,
You can
exactly.
tell.
And
You can
that's
tell.
exactly how it goes. And in drone racing, anything can happen. So it might look like I've got it and I just throw it away, or it might look like I'm not going to have it and then I comes back or something. But
Yeah.
it is I crack up, but I'll talk to him afterwards. I always like, it's this really awkward silence. Like I want, like once the race starts, he kind of disappears and I won't see him. And then I might see him like out of the corner of my eye or something. And then after the race is over, then he'll come up and give me a hug or something.
Nice.
But yeah, he's a hoot.
We got a lot of chat going already. I want to get to a few questions before it gets too long here.
I have one chat that I definitely want to get to. It's from Cappy
Okay.
One. He said, "What is your favorite soup?" And he owns a Zoops, which is and Detroit. He always takes care of me. I go up there to race and practice, and Cappy always takes care of me. And Zoops soup is just the best. And he's got so big. I guess there's a shout out for you for Cappy One if he's watching. I love me some Zoop soup, and he always takes care of me when I'm up in Detroit. So big. I really appreciate Cappy for all. that he does.
Awesome. Crack FPV asks you about your name, the 533 brand name. Where did that originate from?
Yeah, so 533, I still think probably one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my career. I think looking back on it, the name, like, it definitely is unique to me. But it's, if you try, especially in foreign countries, if you try and tell someone the name of your website, and you say fly five, and it's not the number five, it's five spelled out FIVE, and then not three spelled out, but three, and it's like, oh my gosh. So like, but that's why we have the t-shirts that's spelled out. If you want to go to
I
our
gotta write it
website, it
down.
is
Yeah.
spelled out for you. But where it came from is the rates that I use. So I know there's another question about what rates do I use. So I fly rates that are 533 degrees per second. And it's really simple. It's almost stock beta flight rates. All you have to do is go to 0.8 RC rate and 0.7 super rate, no Expo, on all axes. And that was something that I've flown pretty much since I believe like late 2017. And you see all these people changing their rates all the time, and like, oh, this is great, this is
Yeah.
great. And I've always just been like, I'm not changing it. And then now I really can't change it because I named a company after it. So I'm stuck. I'm just stuck with it now. But no, it's just kind of, it was a number we felt, or obviously it's kind of unique to me. And also just kind of, yeah, represented myself. You could, if you hear 533, the idea was you could think about me and Armando, who's the partner in the company. He also runs these rates. But yeah, it was just kind of like, oh, well, those are my rates. And I get the question all the time, what rates do you run? And now it's like, it's the name of my, there's a good chance I'm wearing a 533 piece of clothing at just about any day of the week. So it's
Awesome.
pretty easy for people to find. But
That's
that
interesting.
is,
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, it's your rates, and that's what you landed on.
yeah,
It's
exactly. So,
interesting too that you don't fly any Expo. I don't know. Is that you find that common for racers that they don't fly with
Um,
Expo?
well, we have super rate, which still puts a curve in there.
Right.
But yeah, I would say there's a good chunk of people now that run the 533 rates, probably because it's so like pushed out there in the world, because like maybe the name of your frame is 533 something, so it's pretty easy to be like, oh, I'll try these out.
Yeah.
But I would say they're pretty common. It's nothing special, not at all. People are always like, is there anything special in the rates? And they're nothing special in them at all. I tried them in late 2017, and I've loved them ever since. And like I said, kind of stuck with them now.
So what if someone were to, without you knowing it, change your rate to like 543? Would you be like, oh,
Oh,
something's off?
100%. Like, and I honestly tell people this. So these people are like, how do I get better? How do I get more consistent and stuff? And I
Yeah.
always tell them, like, first step is to find a setup, find your rates, and don't change them. Because and my theory behind that is, I know how my quad will perform. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm nervous, it doesn't matter if I'm tired. I like, just the muscle memory that I have built up from flying the same setup for so long really, really is, it pays off in the end. So yeah, I think I know those 533 rates better than just probably healthy. Then it's healthy to know. But I know that, know those rates so well, and I'd be willing to bet that I could at least guess which one is which if somebody tried to go in and change them. But
We
who
should
knows?
do it.
Maybe I'll
We
have
should
to
do a
try that.
game sometime. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
let's
give
do
you the
it.
three
I'm all for
quads,
it.
and you guess which rate is which. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be funny. Well, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, at the level that you're flying at, and if people watch your videos of you flying, there's no way you could have your reaction time that you do if you're like feeling out of turn or
Mm,
trying to kind of like judge, how fast it's going to whip
yeah,
around. Like you can tell
exactly.
what you're doing is muscle memory, and it's just before you're even
Well,
at the gate, you're looking at two gates in front,
oh,
right?
totally. And it's the biggest thing is, if you're ever gonna, especially in racing, if you're ever hesitating, then you've already messed up. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest things you see when people kind of are, they're like wondering how, like, why do they fly so different when they're racing, or when they're yeah, like in an actual race, when they get nervous. And the biggest
Right.
thing you do is, if you watch their flying, they'll see them think about making a turn that they can make no problem. But if they hesitate at all, or if they're like not exactly sure how to react, then they'll clip it, end up in the ground, and it's over for them. But if you really, really know your quad, and you're just confident, whether or not you're nervous, if you really, really know that quad, muscle memory can take over, and hopefully keep you in the air.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good advice. We got a lot more chats going on in here. Thanks for everyone joining us today. One thing I wanted to, before we get too far, Evan, we have a discount code in your honor for GetFPV right now. So
Wow.
today through Sunday, you can go to GetFPV, add some gear, like maybe a tiny trainer or something like that to your cart. You
There
put
you
in the
go.
code Headsup on the coupon code here, and it saves you 5% off your order. So
Perfect.
thank you
Well,
for joining us tonight, Evan, and we're making that available to our fans and your followers if they want to save a little bit of cash when they order something.
yeah, great. Well, that's definitely a good way to get a good deal on the tiny trainer. I know that those are you guys already have a pretty sweet deal of all the parts in one little box, and to get 5% off that, that's
Yeah,
a
those
good
things
little
have been
steal right
selling
there.
really well. It's an awesome kit, and I know it's been
Awesome.
really popular. And that's probably
Yeah.
one of your most famous products that you've helped design too. Is that right?
Yeah, so let's see, I have one right here. So this, I guess, for anybody who doesn't know, but this is the tiny trainer. It obviously doesn't have props on it, but it's something that we came out with. Obviously, you can see it kind of resembles like a Racer 4 from DRL. It's got like the little battery sleeve, so the battery just kind of pops in. You don't need a battery strap. One of my biggest pet peeves is the battery straps for micro drones. I hate the little tiny things, but this, you just pop it in, and you're good to go. Um, but what it was used for originally was back in 2019 when I got on DRL, I needed a way to practice for the races without having access to a soccer or football stadium. So in DRL, we're flying through these soccer stadiums or football stadiums or whatever,
Oh,
and
you
that I
mean
just,
you don't just have a stadium that you can fly whenever you
yeah,
want?
no. Unfortunately, I don't. But we wanted to kind of be able to practice in a way that would hopefully prepare me the best I can. So Armando, it was totally his idea. He was like, "Let's just shrink the drone down, and we can bring DRL to your backyard." And that was kind of the idea. And it ended up with this. I kind of doubted it. And we almost didn't do it. Actually, we thought it was going to be a gimmick, but it really kind of took off. It obviously has this really cool look. Probably the most durable thing you're ever going to fly. It's inexpensive. Like you have these little small motors on here. It uses a little all-in-one board, so it's easy to build. You've got obviously it's super beefy. You've got these super wide arms, and like this thing. I mean, I think this thing is like over a year and a half old, and I beat the absolute crap out of this thing, and it just keeps coming back. And it's just more than anything, it's just fun. Like that is my one of the biggest things that we hear from people are who it's like their first drone. It's like, man, this thing's just fun. It's quiet. It resembles a bigger quad. It's super stable because of those wider arms, and it just I mean it looks cool. Everybody, you want to fly drones, but you also want to look cool doing it. So this is like you said, been one of our more popular products, and that we partnered with GetFPV and FPV Crate to kind of bring this to the masses, and where you can pretty much go in and you don't have to look for all the parts. You go in and click one button, add to cart, and you can get the motors, the frames, the camera, everything in one little crate, and they'll come to your doorstep in no time. We also have this really sweet little LED kit. So I don't have a battery on me, but when you plug it in, it lights up just like the DRL drone.
Yeah.
And again, that's available through our website, but also GetFPV in that one little box. And that is something we've been really, really excited to have done.
Yeah, we were really glad that we could work with you on that in terms of trying to get it available for more people who are interested in it, and
Yeah.
through Crate, and then also through our store now today. This is the box that you were mentioning. That is the kit. So if people are wondering what's in it, this is like the full DIY kit. So if you were to open this up, you get like the sticker sheet. It's
Oh,
all
yeah.
cool custom stickers with the frame, and then it comes with everything you need to build the quad. So you got the props, the camera, the motors, the frame, the VTX, all that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
all in there, ready to go. Add your own battery and radio and receiver, and you'd be off and flying.
Yeah. And then you guys also did a really great little build diagram. That's another, I guess, issue that I guess one of the barriers of entry in FPV is it's really hard to know where everything goes. But that's another one of my favorite things that you guys have done is you had a great little diagram of this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, and if you do that and you follow these steps on here to set it up, you'll be flying in no time. So I'm really not only impressed but just proud to be a part of working with you guys to bring that to the market and a huge group of people.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it and love that we were able to do that too. We had one question from Tally FPV Whackers asking, is there going to be a DJI version on the 533?
Well, that is a loaded question. So the tiny trainer, we actually we've been talking with GetFPV. I guess we talked about this yesterday, but we're trying to. What's in the works is a DJI like Edition canopy so that you can get your DJI Air unit or not Air unit, but like the Vista or any of
Mhm.
the HD systems that are coming out into the tiny trainers. So that's one thing to keep an eye out for. We do have the Tiny Trainer HD plate. Makes it just use this little, and you can fit a Vista in there, no problem. Um, that's something we plan on working on. And then one of the biggest things that we're working on right now is a HD racing frame for 5 inch. So we have like our Switchback. This is the Switchback Pro. This is actually the quad I used for World Drone Cup and IO. And then also in Turkey, I won the Turkish World Drone Cup. I guess that was 2 weeks ago or a week ago or something.
Oh, yeah, that was really
Um,
recent. Yeah.
yeah, and so that was this quad right here. So this is the Switchback Pro, but we're coming out with an HD version. I mean, sorry, Armando, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry for have said this, but we're already here. So we're going to be launching a Switchback Pro HD version that'll fit I guess the new SharkBite system with the new VTXs. It'll be micro cam accessible, so you can get those like the DJI cameras that are micro. This is
Yeah.
a nano cam only frame right now. But this new frame that's coming out that I definitely wasn't supposed to talk about is going to be out soon, and it'll be where you can have a small compact racing frame that is totally clean and accessible with all the DJI stuff. So we're launching two versions. We're launching the DJI version that's already out. It's a switchback just like this with a little bit of a longer body to fit the Vista with the short standoffs. It's available on our site right now. But then we're also launching a smaller version that's much like this to fit some of the SharkBite stuff, which have a little bit smaller VTXs. So again, you can have all the latest and greatest on hopefully some of your favorite frames on the market. But this is what we've got right now.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing it with us. I'm excited that we are like breaking the
you're
news
yeah,
here. I
you're
wasn't
the
planning that.
first. You're the first.
Well, everyone watching the stream, they're getting all the insider
Yeah,
scoop here,
exactly.
so
Tell
that's
your
cool.
friends.
Back to kind of your FPV history a little bit. I mean, we know about all your success and how good you've been in the recent years. I want to know a little bit in the beginning, though. Like, did you find that you had some learning curve, a bunch of crashing to get to where you are today? Like, what was that path and journey for you? Did you feel like you struggled for a while, or how did that learning curve go for you?
Yeah, so I would say the learning curve that even a lot of people experience is at the very beginning, you feel like every time you go out and fly, you're getting way, way better. It's a super steep curve. You go out and fly, wow, I just got faster. And then again, and then again, and then again. And then eventually, you start to you taper off. And that's a difficult thing. And then it's after that, it's kind of, you like kind of just reach little steps. You'll fly for a little bit. And maybe it feels like you're getting slower. It's just really hard to improve. But then you'll hit another step and you'll figure it out somehow. It's something will click. But when I first started, I was very fortunate. I guess I'm not sure if it's just like the RC background that I had, but I seem to have picked up the drone side of things pretty quickly. I've been holding a remote control since I was like 6 years old, so it kind of came pretty naturally to me. But that does not mean by any means that I am just numb to the fact that I'm not always getting better, and that there are other guys out there who are flying way more than me and have been in this for way less time, but are better than me. Um, but I'd say I picked it up pretty fast, and I think in 2017 at my first nationals I got 10th. So I know you guys plan to have Alex Campbell. The chief, I guess, on. But him and I started racing together way back, like pretty much together, racing together. And we went to champs together that year, and I got 10th and he got 11th. So I
Wow.
mean, we've had that little rivalry, that little brotherly, or brotherly, I guess. We've been friends for so long, it kind of feels like it, but we've had that little rival, I guess, for literally since the very beginning. So after that, yeah, I guess it picked up pretty quickly. And once I got a taste of like success, or a taste of like maybe I think I can do this, that's when I really started to put more time into it, started to take it more seriously. And then to really get to that next level, especially in these last couple of years, it's just taken the biggest thing that I think has helped is just like a level of maturity that I've had to kind of develop. To really be consistently good, you have to be able to like keep your nerves, and also just be able to fail and then kind of pick yourself back up. So I hear a lot from these kids or kids. There's younger guys who are obviously getting really good at racing. They're super fast, and they're always talking about like, man, I'm just like, they maybe have a couple bad races, and they're asking like maybe talking to me about like what it is that I do or what it is, etc. But I always tell them that it definitely gets easier as you get older, just because, or with experience really, because when you have those bad races, as you get older, more experienced, you can kind of pick yourself back up, because what you'll see from a lot of these younger kids or people who are less experienced is they'll make a mistake, and then it's just kind of, after they make that one mistake, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's not necessarily that I got good really fast. I think it was just that in my at like my prior experience in competition, that was one of my biggest edges I had over the competition, was that I was able to make mistakes and then kind of know that I could pick myself back up and get back in it and have that confidence. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who are really good, but once they lose that confidence, it really kind of goes downhill for them. So that is, I feel like, one of the biggest, I guess,
Yes, that's
things
good
that I
advice.
took away from improving in the beginning.
From a strategy standpoint, let's say you're in a race. Do you have a preference that you would be leading the race? Let's say maybe there's a two-part question. Like you're leading the race in the rankings, like how they would rank you during a tournament
Yeah.
type style race.
Uh,
That's the first part of the question, and then the second part is, say you're in a heads-up race where you're racing. This is the final race. Would you rather be leading that race from the start, or do you like kind of coming back from behind if you had an option?
Well, to answer the first part of the question, I would say everyone's goal is to be the top qualifier, to be the best of the best at the
Yeah.
from the very beginning. However, that doesn't always happen. And actually, more recently in the past, so this happened at IO and the Turkish World Drone Cup, and is that I think I qualified at IO. I think I qualified fifth, and at Turkey, I think I qualified third. So I was not the fastest. So I kind of was like the underdog almost going into these brackets. There were several people faster than me, and I kind of just had to buckle down. And I, at least recently, have started flying my best when the pressure's on. I don't know
Mhm.
what it is about it, but I love pressure in general. Like some people, like they kind of shy away from it. They don't like with the like all the lights are on them, the cameras are on them. They kind of shy away from that, but I feel like it helps me perform, because it, like, once those butterflies come in, I like really, really start to focus to an extra degree. And so, yeah, I would say, I mean, I'll probably jinx it when I say this, but more recently, I've definitely flown better in the actual race itself. And I just haven't like been able to find my groove in qualifying. So I don't know if
Okay.
it'll stay like that. And maybe I'll start to find my groove in qualifying again, or whatever it may be. But recently, it's just been do the best I can in qualifying and keeping up with these kids now and how
Maybe that's
fast
a
they
good
are. It's,
strategy. I mean, just get through qualifying, get you in
yeah,
a good position in the last race, and then you turn it on.
yeah, exactly. And that is, I mean, none of that matters. Nobody really cares about where you qualified. By the end, it's just like
No.
who stands on the podium is what people care about. So I've been very fortunate in these more recent races that I've been able to sneak on a few podiums. But I say it all the time, they're you go through, it's like if you watch baseball, like you'll see people go through hot streaks, cold streaks.
Yeah.
So you'll see people who are like they just can't seem to get it. But with this type of stuff, you'll go through streaks. So right now, I got on a hot streak, I guess, a few months back, but I definitely have had my fair share of cold streaks as well.
How would you describe your flying style in racing? Like, you watch some people, you'd say, oh, he's so smooth, his lines are so fluid. Some people, you're like, wow, he's really fast, but maybe it's a little bit more of a jagged type movement. Like, how would you describe your style of flying?
Yeah, I aspire to be smooth. I aspire to be that, but I am not. Like it just doesn't. It just does not come naturally to me. The whole smooth thing, and uh, I tried at one point, but I got to a point where I was just like, at the end of the day, nobody really cares what your flying looks like. And this is with racing. Nobody really cares what it looks like. At the end of the day, it just matters who gets to that finish gate first. So I kind of dropped the whole idea of trying to be smooth. I wish I could do it, but I can't. But like people like Vanover or like Propsicle, Silas Aaron, those are like the two smoothest racing pilots that I know. It literally looks like art when they fly. It's like the most calculated thing I've ever seen. But I would say I'm definitely known for very like aggressive, maybe flying style, to the point. And I'm very just like, if I make it to the next gate, I don't care really what it looks like, but as long as I'm headed for the next one, then it really doesn't matter to me.
Awesome. Well, as many people probably know, and we mentioned earlier, you were on DRL
Mhm.
last, well, I guess it was last season, right?
Mhm.
Which was all remote at that point.
Yeah.
And you won that, which congratulations a year later, but that's awesome. And then now this season, you guys have already started filming. A few of the episodes have aired recently, and
Hmm.
you ended up winning the first heat, or I guess how do you say it, the first
The
level?
first level. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
we
I want
just
I want to hear a little bit about that. Like, what's that experience like for you? Yeah.
yeah. So DRL definitely is like it's a professional league. It's totally different than like this grassroots racing we do with multi GP. It's kind of it's a little crazy, or it's like intimidating for sure to step into it. But like you said, last year was fully virtual, and I was fortunate enough to win. So that means we're flying on the DRL sim, um, and we did that, and I was able to win, whatever. And then this year we're doing a hybrid season, so it's partially real life or IRL, whatever, and then partially in the sim. So last night, I believe, well, it's Thursday when this is being filmed, and last night, level two was aired, and I got third. So wasn't my night last night for sure. I did win the first one, but I think after last night, Vanover and I are tied in seasonal points. So Vanover definitely my biggest rival when it comes to racing, especially in DRL. The guy is just really really good. He's just one of the most naturally talented pilots I've ever met, one of the hardest working pilots I've ever met. And so me and him are kind of like rivals, and definitely shown as that on the show. But I got first and he got third in the first level, and then last night he got first and I got third. So we kind
Nice.
of like pretty much flip flop spots. And I mean, my prediction for the rest of the season is that that'll probably be like that a lot. So it'll probably come down to the wire. That's gonna be gonna be scary for sure. You know, like the nerves are already high, but when it comes down to like one race at the very end, you just got to buckle down and do it, and that's really hard. And that's something that Vanover is actually really good at. Um, but as far as the experience goes, like it's an experience that I can't really describe without like showing you or actually being there. It's like these events have over 200 people, employees running them. So if you think about 200 people being at a drone race, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But then you think about only 12 of them being pilots and the rest of them being in charge of running the race. So you have like the camera crew, you have the hair and makeup, you have the people who are setting up the course, people who are designing the course, people who are interviewing us, people who are
Did,
it just
did you
like
ever
it's
think
just
you'd be a drone pilot needing hair and makeup done?
yeah. Well, my mom and girlfriend and pretty much everybody I know make fun of me for it. But yeah, I'm not wearing makeup right now. I don't wear makeup on a daily basis, but they definitely they want to make us look pretty, I guess, on there.
Yeah.
So yes, if you guys watch the URL, all of the pilots except Sky are wearing makeup because apparently Sky has sensitive skin, so he can't wear makeup. Maybe I should have said I had
Funny.
sensitive skin too. I don't know, but I we all get the hair and makeup done. But yes, that is. If you see a bunch of drone racers, we're just I guess at the end of the day, a bunch of nerds, and we definitely get our makeup
You
done,
should
which
tell
it,
them
it cracks me
next
up every time.
time you need a perm or something crazy with your hair.
Yeah, maybe I'll mix it up for the next one.
Well, I have a short clip I wanted to share. This is from one of your races there, and they have a highlight. This is on DRL's YouTube channel, and I wanted to just maybe get your thoughts of what happened from a pilot's perspective on these clips. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
Let's
sounds
put
good to
this
me.
on here. Oh, this is actually the wrong clip. Let me show the other
Oh,
clip.
sneak peek of what's
Oh,
to come,
teaser.
huh?
All right, here we go.
Oh boy, yeah. So this is a close heat between myself, Gab, and Vanover. As you can see, we're all pushing to get each other, and this is called the triple pass. So you'll see Gab and I actually hit each other there. I have to do a quick flip back over, and you'll see here again. We make contact, me and the yellow drone. Boom! I like almost hit the ground, and I have to get up and get back in the race line as fast as possible, and then we're pretty much right back together in the straightaway. It's really difficult to stay up after a midair, but Gab and I both were lucky enough to stay up and continue the race. This one here is winning level 1. So as you can see here, this is me getting a little excited about
Yeah, your energy
racing.
levels at least a 3 there. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is this is my friend, of course, Alex the Chief. He got second at this one. So to have my buddy Alex get first and second, oh my gosh, it was like literally a dream come true. Look at him. We were so a big hug. Yeah, those were the first like in real life levels of DRL for Alex and I to finish first and second. It meant the world to us. So we it's I when I tell people like it was a dream, like we talked about being on DRL for like 5 years, like when we were practicing with each other in my yard like 5 years ago, we're like, man, it'd be cool for me and you to be on DRL one day. Maybe we could get first and second. And like it actually happened, like the first try. Um, then it was, and it might not ever happen again. It didn't happen level 2, obviously, but it was so cool to have like your best friend growing up get on DRL with you, and then now you guys are kind of traveling around the world,
It's gotta be
racing together,
surreal. Yeah.
competing against each other, but also a little bit cheering each other on. So that's been one of the biggest things that I feel lucky for, is to be able to fly alongside Alex in the DRL.
That's awesome. I feel like you guys feed off each other's energy. Like one of you guys is getting pumped up, and the other guy gets pumped up, and then the other guy gets more pumped up.
Yeah, I would say it's Alex's favorite term is getting gassed up. So
Yes.
he's always like, man, I just want to get gassed up, and then like I'll like like give him a fist bump really hard. Like, well, here's one thing. So Alex, I will never ever, especially after he has a good heat, will never accept a high five from him, because like I swear I've almost got my wrist broken from him. So you'll see. I'm not sure if they showed it ever on DRL. But I'm sure they'll show it. I'm sure it'll happen in some of the later episodes. But Alex will come in for a high five, and I'm sitting there, and I always kind of like let my arm go limp and kind of fall back as he gives me a high five, just because I know that it will hurt so bad. But
You guys have been warned. If anybody's flying with Alex, we'll look out for the high
yeah,
five.
do
It may
not
break your
accept a
hand.
high five, especially if he's like really. It might just be me. Maybe he's actually just trying to snap my hand off. But yeah, Alex
It's
and
a
I have
strategy. It's how
always.
he's gonna win. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we've flown together forever, and we're always there to cheer each other on,
Yeah. I mean, for those that don't know,
regardless
you
of.
guys are both from like pretty close area, right? Both in
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yeah. So we both live in Tennessee. I know Bardwell talked about in the stream. Tennessee
Mm.
is now this hub of like racing pilots. So we have myself, Alex, and then Blake Sams. And we're all three on DRL and all within like a 3-hour circle of each other. So we race with each other a lot. We practice with each other a lot, and we knew each other from like 5 years ago, and we've all just kind of worked our way through it. Nub got on DRL 2018, I got on in 2020, and then Alex now on in 2021, and it feels like it's a dream come true. I couldn't tell you that you can't make it up. You really can't. But it is pretty cool that we all can live so close to each other and support each other as well.
Must be something in the water up there. I don't know. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
move up for a month or two and see if I get
Yeah,
faster.
yeah, exactly. Maybe so. I'm not sure.
So Tennessee, living in that location, I mean, it's not really year-round FPV weather necessarily. So like, what do you do to train once the weather gets crappy or snowing or
Yeah.
like
So
that?
Tennessee, the part I'm in is we have, I would say, like all of our seasons are pretty mild, especially the winter, the colder months. So like
Okay.
it will snow a little bit, and it does get like below freezing and whatnot. But to be 100% honest with you, like some people like to do tiny whoops, but that was another reason that we came out with the tiny trainer, is that we could continue practicing indoors. Like I think I have a video on my Instagram of me flying literally in my garage. Like we have like a 3-car garage, and I pretty much just put pop-up gates in there and started flying a track, and it was great practice. It was better practice than I would ever get. Well, I don't want to say that. It was basically me being a wimp and not wanting to go outside to fly because it'd be cold. Um,
I
but
think I've seen a
me,
post from your dad before saying you're sitting in the garage with a
yeah,
warmer
oh
while you're
yeah,
flying outside.
yeah, exactly. And that's also for a safety thing, because you're going fast, and I'm like, I don't want to be anywhere near that thing if I make a mistake. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much when it gets colder. We 533. We actually run a winter warehouse series. So we fly. We have a tiny trainer spec series where we fly a tiny trainer with the spec frame, motors, and props, and we all race them against each other. And we can fly indoors and not damage anything. It's still amazing practice, and that's how like we kind of stay fresh and try to improve over the winter and with a tiny trainer.
Awesome. Good to know. Uh, let's look at this one video that you posted a little bit ago, not too long ago. It was your one take video that you do.
Yeah,
This is kind of a different side. This is like almost polar opposite of FPV racing. This is like
totally.
FPV cinematography, cruising, smooth flying. But I think what
Yeah,
made this video special is it was a one take. And when you say
yeah,
one take, I think of, okay, 2 minutes, something like that, right? Probably. This is a 9+ minute video, which even
yeah.
just
I
from a
have.
technical standpoint, I like, how do you fly that long even on a mini quad, right?
Yeah, I actually have the quad that I used to film the video. So this is definitely something that has not been released, and this is the perfect time, I guess, to show you guys what it is. But so this was filmed with what we're calling the 533 footy frame. So the footy, so it stands for like obviously you get some footy um, for footage, and so this is going to be our freestyle frame, but also going to be our 5-inch tiny trainer. So we have the tiny trainer right now, which is 3-inch, but Armando just he comes up with some of the best ideas. I don't even know how he does it really. Um, but this is it right here. So it is a 5-inch freestyle frame, but the kind of magic behind it is, well, as you can see, like in the video, like it's perfect for a GoPro. There was no props in view, super rugged, lightweight. But some of the cool things it does is that you can flip it over. Okay, you flip it over here, and we have this. This will be injection molded. We'll have a full
Mm-hmm.
tiny trainer injection molded covering here. You can flip the camera over, put the motors on top, and it might be hard to let's see here. It might be hard to tell, but
Yeah, let me put you on full screen
it
right here.
has this. There we go. So when we put the motors on top, we'll flip the camera over. We'll have this really cool camera pod and this full tiny trainer shell, much like this one. And the idea behind it is it'll be a rugged, like practice racer. So this will help you improve without worrying about your gear. So like race quads might not be as durable. They might not protect your gear as much. But the idea behind this is you can race, you can get much better, not worry about crashing. And then you go do that. And then say you get a call, hey, I need you to film this. And you can do it professionally, blah, 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 blah. And then all you do is you take off your motors, put them on the other side, put your GoPro mount on there, flip your camera over, and now you have a 5-inch freestyle filming quad. So I'm really excited about this. Again, it's going to be called the 533 Footy. Hasn't been announced yet. It's in the works right now. We're actually in the middle of getting this injection molded with this full canopy we're going to have. And also, we're going to do a full light kit. So this whole thing on the inside will pretty much be in like a light bar. It'll be RGB. Should be super cool. Um, but keep an eye out for that for sure. But this is, yeah, I guess a great
We're getting
kind of.
all the drops on the stream. We're getting all the new gear. That's
Yeah, I
pretty
know. Yeah,
cool.
I guess I texted Armando. I asked him permission to talk about this one, but the other
Okay,
one
good.
I said on accident. But this is I kind of kept under wraps what I used, but it was literally a 5-inch drone. There were no prop guards, which was a little scary, but the prop guards made it my flight time lower, and I had to use a 1550 milliamp hour 6S battery, so this huge battery, and put it on there, and I just had to fly as slow as I possibly could, or as
Even
efficiently as I
even at
possibly could.
1550, I would have guessed you had like a 2200 to fly that
No,
long, but you made
it
it
was a 15.
1550.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was a 1550, and these are it has the 533 motors. I used my the Headsup R38 props, so it's like a standard setup really, and nothing else special. Just that big battery, and just flew as efficiently as I can. But my battery, like we did a lot of like research and development of like, or as far as how long can we make this, how many like nooks and crannies can we squeeze through, and the biggest issues were flight time, of course, which we were able to get up to like 9.5 minutes. The video is 9.5 minutes, and I think my drone fell to the sky at like 9 minutes 40 seconds. So it was really like at the peak of what was possible. And then the other issue was getting signal. So we'll watch this video here.
Yeah, let's watch it. We can
Um,
talk through it.
yeah, yeah, and I'll kind of talk about some of the challenges. This was on analog, so I wasn't using DJI. I was using full AXI antennas. These were the 533 AXI antennas, Lumineer AXI antennas, and on my goggles and the quad. But as you can see here, this is a Maryville College campus, and we're flying through. Here's the first building. So right here, I'm actually on the road, and I'm in a golf cart. I'm sitting in a golf cart. Okay. Uh-oh, we're getting some buffering here. Okay.
Yeah, let's hope it cleans
It's
up.
working. Okay, so now we're flying in a classroom. These people are actors. I didn't just sneak into this classroom. And then now we're going to go in and show the next classroom. And I think we spent about 3 or 4 days just kind of planning this whole thing out. The Maryville College team, marketing team did a really awesome job of kind of talking about what we wanted to do here. But this is like their some sort of stone that talks about like their morals or something. They wanted to show that. Then we're going to go over here. Actually, the president of the college is standing here. He's this guy in this blue button-down shirt. Dr. Coker is his name, I believe. And then here we're going to be weaving in and out of the trees. But you'll see me. I'll point out to you guys. We're going to be in a golf cart, so keep an eye on the cart. Be probably off to your right here. Maybe we see it, maybe we don't. All right, you're not going to see it there. But so now we're on the move. So we can't be sitting in one spot and get all this good signal, because you'll see we're going to go through all these buildings. So right now you might see us here a little bit, but we're kind of pretty much right behind the drone chasing it. And next we're going to show off the athletic department, I believe, some of the workout area. So we're pulling into this parking lot to your left, again, right behind the drone. Supposed to kind of show the baseball field, show the bleachers.
So you were literally sitting in a golf cart driving
moving golf
around.
carts. So I'm sitting here moving in the golf cart, which made it so difficult. You'll see some like throttle blips every now and then because we'll like go over a speed bump, and it was super difficult to stay smooth throughout all this. And also we were like right on the edge of losing signal the entire time. We tested all these different antenna setups, but the like I said, the Axes pretty much ended up being the best for us. They partner so well together. Like we just use Axie on the drone and then Axes on the goggles. Like I just can't, you can't beat it really. These are Axie 2s, that is.
Did you actually do this all in one attempt?
Yep. This is the first try.
Wow.
We did 2 takes. The second take, we had a problem. One of the doors ended up being closed. There were all these people that had to be working together, and there was a miscommunication. Here's the baseball team. They were all practicing. But this was the first take, and there was a lot of practice, a lot of walkthroughs. So this is going to happen here. You're going to go here. The golf cart, because you're not only talking about the flying in a situation like this, you're talking about where does the golf cart need to be? Who needs to be opening door? You can see us on the bottom left here. There's the golf cart. We're riding on it.
Yeah, I saw it.
But there was so much that went into this, as far as people need to be in the right spot. The golf cart need to be in the right spot. I have to fly at a certain speed, not only to get the correct shot, but to make my battery last long enough, because the whole time I'm just watching my voltage get lower and lower and lower and just hoping it can make it. Here we're going to go into the basketball court. The whole basketball team was in there practicing, so they were going to run a special drill when I came in. So they're all in here.
The other thing I noticed is there's some audio like editing. Is that something that you did or somebody else helped you with?
Yeah, this was the Maryville College team did this. So this was a professional shoot I did with them, and they did all this really nice editing work to add all the sound design in there.
Cool.
But so here's like the trophy case they have. And this fun fact, this is actually where my dad went to school. So this is where my dad went to college. He went to Maryville College. It's where I live now. But this is kind of a cool thing that I get to do this, have this opportunity to show off where my dad went to school.
Was this their way to try to get you to come to college there?
I don't know. Some of my buddies were giving me a hard time. Like they go to Maryville College and they're like paying Maryville College, of course, tuition and everything. And then at least right now, I'm not going to college. Maryville College was paying me to do this video. So I guess it was kind of backwards, which I thought was kind of funny. Here, this is called the beach, I think is what this part of the campus is called, this nice big grass area. And here's Mountain Challenge. So they're big on like an outdoorsy type school. So they have this big rock or this like you can climb it, and they do all the sorts of like team building exercises. But you see people at the top here. They knew I was going to be there. So they were, again, part of the acting. You got the tennis courts. And this was probably some of the sketchiest flying, second sketchiest by far, because we're like, the drone is like almost a half mile away at this point. And we're just hoping that the signal can hold through. And we're still trying to get to the next spot to be ready.
So you're on a 5.8 analog transmitter, it sounds like. Is that right? And then you're using, for control link, what were you using?
I was using Crossfire. So TBS Crossfire. And it held up great. It pushed the limits of all the technology that I was using. Like it was pushing the batteries, it was pushing the drone, it was pushing the video signals, pushing the radio signal. There were so many things that we had to do, but that just goes to show like we really are just trying to use the best of the best gear, and it worked when I needed it to. So I guess that is just goes to show that like it's good to kind of invest into some quality products with the right people behind them. So here is some dorms, and this is you'll see us here again on the golf cart in the bottom. So we're pulling out of the parking lot, peeling out of there, trying to get to the next location. And then we're actually going to jump a curb because we're going to go through like the inner part of the university. So
So as
they
you're
have
flying here, though, I mean,
a
did
little
you memorize all this ahead of
walkway.
time, or is somebody telling you where to go, or you have
I
somebody kind of
memorized it. We
talking to
walked
you?
through it. You can see us again on the right. I memorized it all pretty much, but I said we drove this route about 1,000 times. We practiced it about as many times as we could. But at the end of the day, it was like all the pieces just kind of had to fall together, and it really worked out. Um, so this is thaw hall here, and I was supposed to go down low over the sidewalk. You'll see us to the right for sure. So here I am. Look, there's the little driver. He's driving us
Yeah.
around. And then I was supposed to show. I think my dad actually stayed here. Pierce, this is like the cafeteria, and he said that he got to stay above the cafeteria. So I'm pretty sure that's where my dad lived in college.
Oh wow.
Um, here was like a little outdoorsy thing going. I'm pretty sure they just put up like games and just told people to come outside so that they could have something in the video. But we won't. I won't hold it against them. Next, this is the most difficult part by far. So this is the Clayton Center. This is their beautiful place where they have concerts. But I could not be sitting outside and get signal all the way through the auditorium and everything. So what actually happens is I'm sitting in a golf cart. We come up to the front door. I come to a complete stop, and then somebody else is sitting there with a rolly chair, and I get out while flying. So this is happening right here. I'm now getting out of the golf cart, moving over, sitting in a rolling chair,
While you're
and
on the
then now
goggles the whole time, yeah,
with under
and
the
flying.
goggles, etc. And now flying. You see it gets a little bumpy here, and that's exactly why. So now I'm trying to get seated in the rolly chair. So now we go into this huge auditorium. It's this beautiful, beautiful thing. They host all kinds of concerts and plays and etc. Um, and then this next part, you'll see. So I'm on the second floor right now. I'm going to go up the stairs, and then we're going to go into the actual auditorium. And this was where I would get the sketchiest signal. So I'm now directly behind the drone. Like I think we're within 5 feet of the drone at this point, getting pushed, followed behind it. And then I'm going to stop here. As myself is going to stop, but the drone is going to keep going here, show off this really cool little auditorium thing. So now I'm sitting here really freaking out at this point because my battery is so low. And I'm just like, please make it, please make it, please.
So do
Um,
you have OSD up? Like everything's
yeah,
like
so I had
screaming
my
the
voltage
warnings at you?
there, and it was
Yeah.
just like crossing my fingers. I was like, I need the shot. I'm gonna get the shot. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And I was like, I think it can hold. So now I'm kind of rushing out of here. Then I'm gonna come back down the hallway, and I'm actually just outside of this doorway, right here where I'm about to go through. To the right, I'm just right there. Get past. Now I'm getting pushed as fast as I can, trying to get to the next spot. Then the hardest part was coming around this corner. I'm gonna go kind of weave through these little beautiful chandeliers. Now I'm getting pushed around the corner, and again with like my feet kind of held up, and then my battery's about to die. But they said they wanted an aerial shot of the whole campus as the last shot. So I get here, kind of do back to where I started, and then I go up high. Battery's about to die, but I was so pumped that we had done it that I just went for it. And then pretty much the battery is basically dead at this point.
Yeah,
And
you
I kind of
murdered
just
this battery. This
Oh,
battery
it
gave
was dead. It was
everything.
dead. It was so dead. But yeah, the drone kind of fell in the sky after that, and that was that was the shoot. But that was honestly like, regardless of like how it all went down or what the final product was, like that's one of the things I'm most proud of was that project, just because so much went into not planning the shot, not planning or like working with all the people to make it happen, but kind of doing all that and combining it together. Like you had to bring the right people together, work with the right people to get the tech working, work with the right people to get the shot planned. And at the end of the day, like I had the right people around me, surrounding me, and I couldn't have been more fortunate to have worked with Maryville College and all the people with it.
Yeah, man.
This
Congratulations. That was incredible. Go ahead.
there's a question in the chat. People were asking what was the actual flight time. I believe the flight time, the total flight time in my OSD was 9 minutes and 45 seconds because I took off, had to get set up, and then the drone pretty much fell out of the sky. But that was, again, going from a fully charged battery to it falling out of the sky again. And that was your standard setup. These are 2207 1900 kV motors, 6S 1500 milliamp hour battery, so it's not lithium ion, it's the LiPo battery, and analog setup. You have your axis right here. I've got my goggles here. I just use two short axes, the 533 edition Luminaire axes on my goggles, really compact. And that's all you need. Like, it wasn't, all these people think I did all this crazy stuff to make it happen, but it really was just reliable gear that was a good quality, and working with the right people to make it all kind of come together. And that's how the shot came together. And I'm really excited about it. I really am.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. That's I watching it right there kind of with you, and then seeing the potential for so much to go wrong along
Yeah.
the way,
Okay.
but it didn't. It's so cool to
Yeah.
see. It's almost exponential, right? As you get longer and longer through the
Oh
video
my gosh.
of how
Like,
many things could have gone wrong.
yeah.
Not meaning that it would have like hurt somebody, but that's just like the
Yeah.
shot would have been done, right?
Oh, I
So
know. It's
that's
especially since it
cool.
was one take, like the nerves only went up. Like the beginning, like it was all right, pretty low, like stress. Okay, I got this. All right, let's go through
Yeah,
here,
if you
through
mess
here.
up, you just do
And
it
then
again.
it's
Yeah.
like, wow, this is the better it went, the more stressful it went, because I was like, I really need to not mess this up. Please, 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 please. And then by the end, especially at that golf cart scene, it was just, actually, I think I have a video of me getting off this golf cart. I'm going to send it to you here. I'll text it to you on Facebook Messenger. You might be able to pull it in.
Okay.
But it was just one of the craziest things. And it was like disorienting. Like my head would hurt afterwards, because, like, you're flying, but then you're also trying to walk around and get pushed. Um, but it was here. Oh,
Thomas
here it
is
is.
asking what VTX did you use and what was the
Oh, so that
power?
was the TBS Unify Pro Nano. So it was only 400 milliwatts of power. Um, and
Wow.
again, it was just a good antenna setup, and the right stuff at the right time. Let's see here. If I have some of the cool parts, I found some of them. Here we go. So, all right. So here's me. I apologize for the weird camera angle that you're seeing here, but this is, I put the phone in the cup holder of the golf cart and I was riding. You can see us bouncing along. And it'll come through here in a second. But then at one point, yeah, we come to a complete stop. There's another person sitting there with a roller chair, not like a wheelchair, but just like this chair. Get in. Then funniest part, if I can find the video, I'll send it to you. But I had to lift my feet up so they don't skip off the ground. So I'm like in like a plank position, almost holding my feet up and then flying and trying to talk through the shot. Okay, I think it just sent.
Yeah, I just got it. Let me try to pull it up here. Hang on.
Okay.
It's kind of like a
So you
crotch
can see
cam you got going on. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I said I really apologize, but it was the only camera shot I had behind the scenes there for you, the raw.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna play it.
Okay. So here you go. You got our driver here. He's actually one of the main guys who planned the shot, and you can see us bouncing around, just going at it. And we're kind of talking about, all right, get to this next spot. Go, 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 go. Oh, hold up. Don't get in the shot. This, that, and the other. And that was really kind of what was going through our head the whole time. And it was so fun, but also just intimidating because it just got harder and harder throughout, because you're like, don't mess this up. Please don't mess this up.
Have you had any experience piloting while in a moving vehicle before?
I have. And that's something I've done before. But the biggest problem with this is that on a college campus, they have a lot of speed bumps. And this specific golf cart did not have the best suspension. So you would go over it, and it was just like you would get rocked by this thing. Your goggles would move on your head, and like your throttle, like you're trying to keep a smooth throttle, of course, and you go over a speed bump, and then it just blips up and goes way high. And so that was one of the hardest parts. Was he would have to tell me, all right, speed bump coming up in 3, 2, 1, and then okay, now be careful, and then like okay, slow down here. All right, get to the next spot. Go, 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 go. And there was a lot of communication going on throughout this flight. That made it possible, that because it wouldn't have been possible without that communication. You had to be very aware of not only what was going on, what was a lot like racing in a sense, because you had to be aware of what was going on, aware of where you were going to go next, and then that other layer of just like hoping your battery lasts long enough, hoping that people are in the right spot at the right time, and it was a team effort. It really was.
I've seen a lot of really good racers translate their practice and skills that they gained with racing into some of this kind of commercial style of flying as well. which I
Yeah.
think makes sense. I mean, a lot of what you've learned in your skill set can translate over. Did you feel the same way that what you've learned in racing was adaptable to this type of flying too?
Yeah, no, I definitely think the professional filming side of things is a really cool way that people have kind of taken their skills. Of course, you see like Vanover and Jet and Nurk and Nub and all these top pilots are kind of starting to do more of that. And yeah, I definitely think that racing has been a big key to that, because not only is it the pilot skill that they got, but it's performing under pressure. When you're on these big sets, when you have all these people watching you, and performing under that pressure, definitely difficult. And I think that's why racers have found so much success in the filming aspect, or the filming side of the industry, is because they're so, I guess, are capable, but also used to that pressure, or performing when it really, really counts. So the skills definitely apply, but also that ability to perform under pressure. And I think that's why, again, why so many of these racers have found so much success in this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I got a few products here I want to show you and see if you have some thoughts on them. Let me pull up my camera
Okay,
here.
let's see it. I love your overhead camera. I know this is new, so I'm very impressed
Yeah,
with it.
it's been a nice tool to have in these streams. So I got something here. Do you recognize what that is?
Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of those. That is the for those who don't know, 533 partnered with Lumineer, Get FPV. We got our cool little sticker in there, and that is the Axie 2, with Lumineer's Axie 2, with which is, I mean, not even my opinion. I think it's just a fact. It's probably the most widely used antenna FPV has probably ever seen. But this is just a partnership 533 did with Lumineer to kind of just build our brand. We want to be able to partner with such a great company, well, like Lumineer, and that is where the partnership came from. It's been something I've been really happy about, and to have that sort of brand collaboration, I've been really excited about. And it's not the first time we've worked with Get FPV, of course, and Lumineer is with that Tiny Trainer Kit and FPV Crate. Get FPV, as I'm sure anyone watching the stream knows, is one of the best. There's some of the best in the business for sure.
Yeah, I think
So those are,
if you guys, yeah, are interested in these antennas, where could they go to find them? Because we
yeah.
don't actually have these specific ones on Get FPV.
So if you want to get the 533 edition, that is on our site, which is Fly 533. And here we go. FIVE, let's FIVE, and then 33.com. So fly533.com. You have to spell out the five. I apologize again. But we have like this. So on my personal goggles, I tend to do a right angle, right-handed, and then I do a stubby, like the straight left hand. I like to do that. But right now I have two right hands on the right angle. It's super compact. I never have to take the antennas off my goggles. I just toss them in my bag and they're totally okay. And then on my quads, I'm running just this one here is a UFL antenna, so it's really low profile. But our UFL antenna is something that the the Lumineer branded axes do not have, which is the UFL clip. So it's
The
the
locking
same
UFL.
Axie antenna, the great performance you get from the Axie, to with a clip on the UFL, so it actually locks onto the UFL. And for like those tight racing builds where it's really hard to maybe get heat shrink or electrical tape around those UFLs, it has an actual lock where it seeps onto the UFL connector. So that's as a racer, and that's obviously what I do the most. That has been one of my favorite things about the 523 version. Other than the fact that it's just cool to see your name on some of these antennas and products around the industry now.
Definitely. This I have is just as like a miscellaneous component, but I think you'll recognize what they are and
Oh
what
yeah,
you're using them for.
yeah. So
Maybe
I'll
I thought
show.
that something you could talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, so something that we've done, I'll show you. We have two versions over here. So we have our motor, which is the 2207 1960 kV motor. And here on a racing quad, this is like my standard racing quad. As you can see, there's no connectors on here. However, if I'm going to break a motor at the field, or I'm going to break a motor in practice, what I have to do is I have to get out my soldering iron and I have to go solder it, and it sucks. And then like maybe throw a solder bubble on the ESC, and it's just terrible. But this, I'll take off the tape here. So this is these quick swap connectors. So as you see here, the MR30 connectors, and these have been around for a while. And I know that people are gonna be like, well, oh yeah, I've seen those before, blah blah blah. Well, they've never came pre-soldered on a motor before. So these come pre-installed on the motor. and they're all the same length. They're all the same direction. So you can just bolt it on. Let's see, here it is. So your motor wires are just already installed there. You solder it to the ESC like normal, no extra soldering. And then if I wanted to take off this motor, say this motor's burnt, say this motor's broken, say I wanted to switch to a different motor. Oh, coming soon. Another good. Say I want to switch to different. You just unplug it, and then voila, look, it's unplugged. My motor is desoldered, and I could plug in another motor. It would spin the same direction. It would be required no soldering, and I could do it all with just a 2 mil, because all I would have to do is unscrew the motor, take it off, bolt on a new one, and plug the connector in like so, and you're back in the air in no time. And you just get your tape, wrap it back around, and as far as like actual performance, like you're not going to get a performance increase or decrease. Like it's going to be a little bit heavier, but what I always say is if you're worried about the weight of these making you lose a race or anything, you have much bigger problems. But what the idea behind this was just that I wanted, especially when I'm practicing or when I'm doing anything drone related, is I wanted to be able to go to the field, practice, and actually practice. Like I don't want to go there and work on stuff. I wanted to be able to break something and just get back in the air as fast as possible. So this has multiple uses. It's not only for quick swap, it also is propeller protection. So if you bend down, it's the perfect length to where your propeller bends down and it breaks or whatever. Instead of cutting up your motor wires, it's going to hit the connector and it's going to save your motor wire. Next thing would be that, again, the quick swap connectors. And also when you break an arm, so like racing frames, of course, they have these really skinny arms that are designed to break. That's part of it. If you want it to be light, you have to pick. But basically, if the arm breaks, usually like it'll rip off the motor, which can either break your motor by ripping the wires out or rip a pad off your ESC, which is also really bad. But the connector will actually be the disconnecting zone. It'll disconnect, and then you will save your ESC, you will save your motor, and then you just put on the new arm and then plug it back in, and you have thus saved anywhere from $60 to $100 just like that. So I think as far as like usability, or somebody who maybe is on a budget, or somebody who like has one quad, especially like these type of people, if you have one quad, you go to a race and you need to get back in the next heat, you don't want to sit down there and solder when all the pressure's on. You want to be able to just unplug it, plug in a new one. Or say you're at a film gig and something goes wrong, motors aren't perfect, and one locks up, or you get maybe dirt in it. Like some of these people are filming in the desert now, they get sand in it, and then boom, that motor's ruined. They can unplug it, plug in a new one, and voila, they're back up in the air again. And I think that it's just kind of I think it's the direction FPV should go. So I'm not saying it's the perfect solution, but I think a lot of the things that we do is trying to push the industry in a direction that is more, I guess, made for broader audiences. So the vast majority of people don't want to learn how to solder. They don't want to learn how to sit or have to fix their drone in the field. They want to unplug their motor and plug in a new one like a Lego set and be back in the air, because I would say most people don't get an FPV to build. They get an FPV to go feel like a bird and fly around. So that is
And it sounds like
where,
a reasonable trade-off. You know, like
yeah,
like you're saying, it's a
exactly.
little bit of weight, but for the convenience and the other factors you mentioned, it sounds like a good choice there.
Exactly. So that is I think we launched that a little bit over a year ago. We got all this backlash, all this hate. It's too heavy. It's too this, it's too that. And at the end of the day, I just thought it was a good idea. I thought it would be something that the industry needed, hopefully push us in the right direction. And it's actually a milestone this week, because so some people have kind of picked up the idea, but I saw a Facebook post on a competitor's group saying, "Hey, is there any way we can get these motors with pre-soldered MR30 connectors?" And I was like, "Wow, like I wonder why you would ever want that." And it felt good, Like I think it's great. I think every company should have motors that come pre-installed with connectors. But it felt good after all the hate we got, that somebody was like, "Man, maybe that could be a good idea." So that felt good on the inside. But I think it's they're called MR30 connectors if you want to install your own, but those, again, are available on our site, fly533.com. You can buy them without the connectors, but you can also buy them pre-installed with the connectors ready to go.
I think for some of us who've been in FPV for a long time, it's almost come full circle to some
Mm-hmm.
degree. Because I
Yeah.
remember when the first motors we all put on had bullet connectors, because they were all coming from motors off of airplanes, because nobody
Yep.
really had mini quad motors. And it was common for airplanes that you use a bullet connector to plug into the ESC. And that's kind of the standard within that, at least it was at the time. So then we just adapted those motors, put them on drones. And then you had all these bullet connectors that you're connecting to your drone, which performed a similar function, although I don't think bullet connector is as clean of a connector compared to the MR30, especially for a 3-wire, ESC motor wire like that. So it
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense using that. And they are very, I mean, they're small. It's not like a
Yeah.
big bulky connector. So
No.
it's
Yeah.
barely bigger than the wire, and it gives a little added protection. So
Yeah.
it is funny seeing connectors come back up as a topic again, like
I
for
I
motors.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, but I think you
Um,
have valid points that why you think they're a good option.
yeah, no, for sure. And then also, so talking about bullet points or the bullet connectors, we had all these people telling us we should do bullet connectors. The idea behind the MR30s is that then direction. So you can plug, once you get the motor direction right the first time, just like you do with any drone, then every time you unplug and plug in a new one, you don't even have to think about it. You plug it in and the motor direction is going to be right. So no computer needed, no soldering iron needed. Once you get it right the first time, it's just boom, 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 as much as you want. So for any of the haters out there saying I should have done bullet connectors, that is at least my reasoning behind doing the MR30.
Yeah, that can make sense, especially if you're in a racing environment and you're under the gun. If you're having to try to remember which order to put something,
Yeah,
and maybe you don't
you do
have
not
time
want to
to
do that.
arm it and test it, yeah, you're going to take off and have a bad experience when your motor spins the wrong way.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
I think many of us have been there by accident in the past. You're building a drone and you don't realize props on wrong or motors backwards. Yep.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of very, very scary, like, or my dad especially. I know, I think my dad's in the chat. But I have watched him try and arm a drone for the first time, like thinking he's got it all perfect, and then in the basement, and then you just hear this super loud noise, and it's like, what was that? And oh, I had a prop on wrong, or the motor was spinning the wrong way. But to be fair, I can't take all I can't give him all the blame because I have definitely done it probably just as many times as he has, if not more. But that this should help at least mitigate that. Hopefully, especially at a race or a gig or like a filming gig or race, etc.
Being in the RC hobby as long as you've been, have you had some bad crashes? Even back in like the fixed wing days, have you had some bad ones?
Yeah, no, I definitely have. Let's see. I remember crying because of a crash when I was a kid. Really, let me try to think. So we were flying these big, expensive airplanes. I mean, so for people who are wondering, like some of these planes can go up to like $10,000. These bigger ones.
Wow.
And it's not like crashing your tiny trainer that you bought from GetFPV for $300. This is like crashing
A
something
car.
that not only costs like as much as you use Toyota, but something that took like maybe years to build. Like it takes like a lot of time and like craftsmanship went into making this thing. And you take
Oh,
care of this. But I actually had a midair collision. So like we flew two planes at once in competition. So there were two flight lines at once, and they kind of intersected a little bit, the two boxes that we were flying in. And we actually ended up making contact. And this plane that I like loved dearly, like I love this thing, crashed. And yes, I've definitely had some bad crash. And like when
like
these things
you
crash,
clipped the wing, or was it like a head
yeah.
on, or what
No,
happened?
it was like the wing clipped and we tried to save it, but it crashed. And like these things, it's not like, oh, I'll replace an arm, I'll put new props on it, all this. It was like a pile of sticks.
Yeah.
It was literally a pile of sticks. So that is talking about RC. That is one of the bad crashes I've had in my day. And then of course, I mean, I think I've probably crashed my drone more times than I've like successfully landed it with all the like practicing and stuff that I've done. Um, but I nothing too memorable as far as crashes go in comparison to that airplane crash. Just because it is. I literally remember being like, wow, like I was just devastated. I really was by this plane going away.
Oh, I can imagine. That sounds tough.
Hmm.
In terms of how you hold the radio, it was for the drone. Is that different than how you would fly a plane and the radio and how you pilot it?
No, so I've got one right here.
Hmm.
So well, I guess this is the question I get often. So I'm known as like a hybrid pincher. So
Okay.
there's like the argument whether you should do thumbs, whether you should like pinch it like this, or like the hybrid, which is where your thumbs kind of go on top. It's probably a terrible view. There you go. Your thumbs kind of go on top, and then your pointer finger is there to kind of support it.
Stabilizer. Okay.
So I've as a kid, I started off flying thumbs for the sole reason that my hands were too small. Like I couldn't reach around to actually grab the sticks. But then as I got older and I could like actually hold the radio, I switched to pinching or hybrid, whatever you want to call it.
Uh-huh.
So I put my thumbs on top and then I grab it here with my pointer finger. And it's the same way now for like drones, tiny whoops, planes, etc. It's all the same way there. But that is, I use the 533 Radio Master, and then these are actually our new stick-ins. They're these we call them rip sticks, and they're some pretty cool stick-ins that I've been. It's been
It's
cool
like
to kind of
like
work
a
with and create.
rubberized material or something. Looks kind of like a
So
grippy.
XLA 3D printed, it's like
Okay.
injection molded quality, but they have these really cool little grips on there. And the biggest issue with flying a lot is that you're like usually with sharp stick-ins that grip really well is they cut into your hand or your thumb. So
Oh
like I
yeah.
have calluses on my thumbs from flying so much, which is really, really embarrassing or sad to say in the greater scheme of things. Um, but these ripsticks are like it'll be so hard to show on camera, but they let's see here. So they have it's like a flat top, but they have these little dimples on them,
Oh wow.
almost like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like if you were to do like the reverse of what a golf ball has, and you put it on there, and it doesn't puncture your finger, but it just adds grip, like sandpaper ish, almost type thing, a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah.
And it means I can fly a lot, and it doesn't actually end up like making my thumbs bleed.
No, I'm with you. Some
So
of them, some of the shapes that you can get are like razor blades poking your fingers. It's crazy.
yeah, I know. And like some people love that. And it's like, yes, your thumbs don't slip, but also you are
Bleed.
bleeding when you land. So there's a question in the chat. So I use, for racing, I use tracers. This is like the TBS tracer. And then for that filming stuff I've done, that uses TBS Crossfire. So I'm like pretty deep into the whole Team Black Sheep ecosystem, I would say.
Nice. Yeah, thanks again for everyone who's joined us here in the chat tonight and going over all of kind of Evan's background, getting a little in-depth back end of your shoots that you've done, some of your racing tips and tricks too. It's been really cool to get to hear all that and interact with everyone. I wanted to remind people too, earlier we talked about we are doing a code right now, discount on GetFPV store. If you use coupon code Headsup for the next few days here, that'll save you some cash. Put something in your cart like a tiny trainer, put that code in, and you'll see the discount there. So thanks again, Evan, for joining us tonight and allowing that to happen. Anything else in the comments we want to get to before we wrap it up? I want to make sure we get to everybody that had a question and we didn't miss anybody. I do see your dad chatting in here every now and then. That's cool to see him.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm actually in Hilton Head right now at the beach with my girlfriend's family, but my dad, he's out it's fall break right now for my siblings. So he's probably sitting like at my grandparents' house, sitting here chatting. I mean, I would say there's a good chance he's wearing overalls if I were to guess. So thanks to my dad for
Yeah, let
chatting in.
us know. What are you wearing?
Yeah. Oh, I'm scared to know, actually. I don't know what to know.
He's going to send you a picture. Watch out.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking of your dad, I mean, your family, I think, has been very influential, it sounds like, on kind of your life growing up and being able to fly. You have some siblings too, right?
Yeah, so I'm the oldest of four. I'm 18 now. We're all pretty much 2 years apart. So I'm 18. My sister just turned 16. If you're ever in Tennessee, my sister just started driving.
Look
So
out.
like I wouldn't come through Tennessee if you could do a detour, maybe. I would recommend it. And then I have two younger brothers after that. Yeah, so they all have their own thing. One of them plays football, the other one plays baseball, and then my sister is just like her own spirit. Like she's like super smart, like all into these crafts and like does all these really cool things. She's into all types of things. But yeah, Lauren, actually, my sister, she does fly. She has a DJI tiny trainer herself that she flies around at the Variable College campus, actually. So she does that with my dad. She's not competitive. She doesn't like to race or anything, but that's kind of her thing. And then, yeah, like people always ask me, like, aside from your dad, does any of your siblings fly? And the answer is kind of pretty much no. My sister, like I said, does, but they all have their own little things. I have mine. And this just happens to happens to be what I really enjoy doing. But yeah, they've all been so supportive of me. I think, well, my youngest brother Sam, we always give him a hard time because I travel a lot for some of the things that I do, and like I've gotten back to like from Turkey. I got back last week, and I get back, and I'm like, "Oh, hey Sam, how's it going?" And he's like, "Oh, hey Evan, like, where you been? Like, I haven't seen you in a while." And I was like, "Oh, I've been gone for the past like week and a half." He's like, "Oh, really?" And he was like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "In Turkey." He's like, "Where's that at?" So he's kind of they find it totally normal, all the things that I go and
That's
do, and
funny.
I love it. I wouldn't want it any other way. They're very supportive, watching the DRL, and they always cheer me on. But being that I'm still the designated, like, take the kid to baseball practice, take the kid to football practice. But now, since
Practice.
Lauren got her driver's
Nice.
license, maybe that could be kind of dished off to her. But yeah, no, it's my family. They've been so awesome to me, and will forever owe them. Maybe I'll have to put my mom in like a nice retirement home someday because of all the things she's put up with, whether that's flying a tiny whoop around her in the house all the time, or taking me to a drone race on the weekends. They've all been so awesome.
Well, hopefully, all the support they're giving you related to your RC and drone experience can make enough money for you that you support them later on, and it
Well,
pays off.
yeah, maybe so. At that, honestly, my goal is pretty much just to go for it. Whether or not that plays in my favor, I don't know. But right now, it's working, and I'm loving every second of it. So I'll make the most of the opportunities while I can, and we'll see where it goes.
So, what's up for the future for Heads Up? What do you have coming in the next few months, and what should people look out for other than some of the products you told us about?
Yeah, so the biggest thing I would say, the biggest focus, I guess, for me is DRL in these months right now. Um, so the season is it should be wrapping up. I think the end of the season should be airing by February, but we're in the midst of training for that, practicing for that, and then of course filming that. But obviously the beginning of a very long season, and that is I'm really bad. I don't like losing, so I definitely try and practice as much as I can and be as prepared for that as I possibly can be. And we'll see how that goes for me, but I'll try my best. And then so keep it. I think DRL is going to be on pretty much every Wednesday. You can go on their site um, and look up the schedule, the airing schedule. But yeah, we're pretty much on every Wednesday night, which is pretty cool. That you have like football Monday night, maybe nothing Tuesday night, and then drone racing on Wednesday night, maybe at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC Sports Network, or streamed on Twitter as well. So you keep an eye out for that. And then other than that, I really just want to continue doing more stuff with 533, pushing that. It's kind of like, it's obviously my business, but it's pretty much like it's my little baby. It's what I wake up every single day. I try and improve it however I can, always, whether that's packing orders in my basement with the employees there, or trying to come out and do a new video, or think of a new product, or talking with a new manufacturer, whatever it may be. That is really what I do full time, and that's what I put a lot of my time and effort into, and I'm going to try and make it the biggest thing that I can. We're a small company right now, and we've been around for about 2 years, and we've turned it into something bigger than I ever thought it could be. But I don't want to stop here. So I want to keep on going, turn it into something. Um, we'll see where it goes. I guess just take it one step at a time. I don't want to say any goal that I can't reach, but I'm just going to try my best and give it everything I have towards it. And if I can make that, or continue, I guess, to make that my job, then I would live a very happy life. Just again, regardless of how successful it is, but if I can turn that into something that I can support myself, then I would. I just can't describe how happy I'd
It
be
sounds
about
like you're off to a good start, and if it's anything like you're flying, I think you'll be successful at it as well. So,
that. We'll see.
congratulations on what you've accomplished so far, and I wish you the best in the future going too. I see a question from Mindbender asking you related to HD and digital transmissions for FPV racing. You want to know your thoughts on, like, what do you think about HD racing?
Yeah, so I probably am one of the biggest advocates for HD racing, or HD in general. I know there's kind of like almost like a political divide in the community over, like, I don't think we should go HD, and like I don't want to like support DJI and this and this and this, or but with like Shark Bite starting to get a lot better, and DJI doing more and more stuff with honestly companies within the
I heard
industry.
MultiGP said they're going to allow shark bite at the nationals, right?
Yeah, well,
Or
I
champs.
guess another surprise announcement. I guess I can announce it on here. One of the reasons for that is at MultiGP Nationals, I will be flying Sharkbite
Oh, cool.
HD. So I think that is kind of a step in the right direction. But going back to what that person was saying, my thoughts on it is I think if we can encourage innovation in the industry, if we can encourage things like that to be accepted, whether that's the higher quality video feed, right now we're flying on technology that's honestly pretty old, or
Mhm.
old in quotes, I guess, old tech. But if we can start working towards supporting the companies that are really pushing innovation, then I think that it can only mean good things for the hobby. So I'm really supporting trying to all the things that Shred is doing, and I really think that deep hobby, what just growing the industry as a whole. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity in that side of things, and I think that it might not be perfect right now, and I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it's better than analog, and you shouldn't sell your analog goggles, and I'm sorry for being this person that wants to change what you have already, but in the future, I think that is the direction that FPV should go. And if I can help push us what I believe is the right direction and help I continue to advocate for innovation, then that's what I'm going to do. So like I said, I'm going to be running Sharkbite at the MultiGP Champs next year, or this coming month, or next month, I guess, and hopefully see a lot more HD tech coming out. Um,
That's cool.
but
I'm with you. I mean, I think if we can move to that and it becomes as reliable as everybody wants it to be and the performance, I mean, it's come even a long way since the beginning of any kind of digital transmission, which we've had a few in the past and they've come and gone, but I think we're in the right direction and it's inevitable. Any new technology is going to have some growing pains and there's going to be some transition period. But I think you're right that that's going to be the future of digital transmission links and stuff like that. It makes sense from that standpoint.
yeah.
Um, RC Ritter's asking you which goggle are you using then? Are you using the HDO2 with the
Uh,
receiver built onto it?
Currently I'm running the HDO. So I'm a goggle, like, I guess, probably pretty picky about my goggles. So currently I run the just the Thatcher HDO ones, so not the new ones. And
Okay.
then the HD0 thing does bolt on the front.
Yep.
Even on the HDOs, you don't have to have HDO2s. So that is what I run. I've got like a little 523 sticker
And
on,
then
the
it just
Headsup
goes
sticker.
HDMI
Yeah.
into
And
the
then it just
goggle.
goes in the HDMI there on the bottoms there somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, right here. But yeah, that's what I run, and that's what I'll plan on running there.
Have you been practicing with that then already? Are you familiar with it?
Well, that's a really great question. The answer is no. I'm waiting on some. And this will also be the announcement of some of the cool new stuff that Sharkbite or HD0 has coming out. So I'll be kind of running the newest of the new stuff there at Champs. So
Cool.
it hasn't came in yet. So hopefully I can get some time to practice with it before it comes. But I've tested it before in the past, and I'm really confident with the system and what it's capable of.
Nice. Thanks for the question, guys, and thanks for
Yeah.
answering that, Evan. Wow, a lot of good people here talking about racing, and that's cool.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on. I think this is a really cool little series you guys have going on, and I think I can't wait to see all the other pilots you have on, and to I think it'll be cool to kind of look back on, maybe to see like the history of how FPV kind of came about, and maybe like do some reoccurring things with some of the pilots as they kind of move forward. I think this will be kind of a cool thing, especially for the fans to interact as well.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm glad we are able to make this happen and people to join us and talk and interact. Johnny's Fi is asking you why is there so many fast pilots in Tennessee, and people are commenting it must be the bourbon, I guess, out there in Tennessee.
I think, yeah, what Jack Daniels maybe is supposed to come from Tennessee or something. I don't know, but I'm
Right?
not sure what we have here, but I guess it works out for us.
It works out for sure. Well, I think we'll wrap it up. We'll say bye to everybody. I want to say again, thanks to you, Evan, for joining us tonight. Congratulations too on all the success you've had in FPV and racing. Thank you for sharing your story of how you got started in FPV and kind of getting behind the scenes. Also, thank you for sharing all the new cool products coming out. So you
Yeah.
guys look out for those. They're coming.
Mhm.
Find them on his website. They're going to be at fly533.com.
Yeah.
Read it right there.
Spelled out. Yeah. You got to spell it out.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
So
cool, man.
everyone have a great night. We'll catch you guys later. We'll have some more episodes of Legends of FPV coming up, so stay tuned. This one's with Evan Turner, Heads Up FPV. Thank you for joining us, man. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon. And good luck at Nats coming up.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys around.